And the most censorship-resistant monetary network in the world is Bitcoin. So interest in CBDCs is just going to drive more feverish interest in Bitcoin. It's actually driving awareness, and Bitcoin is growing as people become more aware that they need something which is non-sovereign, store of value, nation-state resistant. So, and if there's hyperinflation, people want Bitcoin. That's why they are thinking about Bitcoin in Argentina or in Nigeria or anywhere in Africa right now. If there's moderate inflation, people that are sensitive to it will go for Bitcoin, and then the people that think the inflation will go away will look at it as an oddity. But you know, money is it's a store of value, a unit of account, a medium of exchange, and then there's a fourth characteristic that we don't talk about. It's the thing that's not said. It's a system of control. So certain monies are easier to control than others. For example, you know, we talk about gold as money, but you ever try to carry a gold bar through an airport?
Very heavy.
You know, try it next time. You know, they won't let you through, right? In fact, if you tried to carry $100,000 of gold through an airport, not only would you not get through, but the assumption would be you're a criminal, you stole the gold, and they would just take it and keep it without a court order. Now, try to carry $100,000 of cash through the airport. You ever try that? Put it in a bag and just, you can put it in a bag, and as you're walking through the TSA check or the X-ray machine, just nonchalantly say to the officer, yeah, I'm carrying $100,000 of money onto the airplane, right? You won't get through. Now, not only will you not get through, they'll just take your money, right? They'll just take it, and the assumption will be you stole it, okay? So cash is a unit of control. Now, put $100,000 in a bank and try to wire it to someone, or just take it out and they're going to ask you why. Tell them it's none of their business. Try to send it to someone privately. Tell them you just want to send it to a numbered Swiss bank account, right? See how that works. That won't work, right? That's a system of control.
Crypto family, welcome back to the channel. Aaron here, coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video today. We're going to be checking out Michael Saylor's recent interview. He's talking about Bitcoin, CBDCs, how Bitcoin ties in with CBDCs, and how CBDCs really aren't a thing that is very new. Things in the past have happened that are very similar to what's going on today, and how history could repeat itself. But make sure to watch all the way to the end. Michael makes some great points. Like usual, his interviews are always just great content. But also make sure to check out our exclusive content on our Patreon. The link for that will be in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump into the clip and see what Michael is talking about here.
By the way, on the Democratic and the Republican side, I mean, Robert F. Kennedy, I don't think is in favor of a CBDC, nor is Ron DeSantis in favor of a CBDC. So there are a lot of free-thinking politicians in both parties that are adamantly against having a system of control where the government can decide. I'm sure the overwhelming majority of the population is adamantly against it, and I would say a decent majority of politicians are against it, but there is a fringe wing that wants to impose control over everybody, and they don't trust anybody. And you know, heck, at some point they would probably like to see how you spend $50, and that's the control freaks in the political sphere. You know, politicians have shown themselves quite capable of interfering in your private affairs, and the last 3 years have shown anything. They've shown that people can come up with some justification to tell you how many people can sit at your dinner table on Thanksgiving, right? And so there'll be some of them. I don't think that politically it's going to fly in the near term. And in the next 2 to 4 years, I don't see consensus at the political level to impose a CBDC. But I think it's like that persistent boogeyman where people say, "Oh, it's coming," and the result is more interest in the antidote to it. So I don't think it's bad for Bitcoin. I think it's good for Bitcoin. I do think we ought to be concerned about money being used as a system of control is very disturbing. I don't think that there is consensus in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party to implement a CBDC. I don't think they know how to do it. I think there's resistance to it. I think that what's going on right now is there's a regulatory crackdown on crypto. And so what is happening is the administration is cracking down on crypto exchanges. It's cracking down on crypto securities. It's cracking down on some of the crypto tokens, and is cracking down on cryptocurrencies. And by currency, I mean a stable coin, like a dollar circulating. And I think that that's creating quite a lot of sound and fury and friction and anxiety in the industry. I think I think it'll continue. There is no coherent digital asset framework that's been offered by any regulator. There isn't any coherent digital assets framework offered by any legislator. We're nowhere near that. Like, there's not a bill we're debating that if it gets voted on will solve the problem. There is no bill.
Got it.
Okay, and so the talk about CBDCs gets people quite spun up, rightfully so. But I think the story here is CBDCs are going to be a non-starter in the free world, and even in the place that's closest to it is China, I suppose. And so I really think that it's a Chinese concept, and I don't really think in the free world we want to be like the Chinese. And I think ultimately both sides of the aisle will agree on that. They won't agree on other things. They won't agree on private money. Like, for example, probably the Republicans and the conservatives would be in favor of private companies issuing digital currency and letting it circulate. And on the other side of the aisle, they're a bit more conservative, and they would say, well, we only want banks to issue currency that report to us on every material transaction. But none of the banks were able to issue a stable coin either. Signature Bank was unable to issue a stable coin. Silvergate Bank was unable to issue a stable coin. And Custodia wanted to be an FDIC-approved bank. They were unable to issue a stable coin. And when you ask those banking executives, they said, well, the regulators wouldn't let us. I don't think anybody should vote for a politician in favor of a CBDC. I mean, this is the struggle, control versus freedom that's as old as time, right? In every society, in the history of the human race, every society, there's always people that want to impose control on the people, and there's another group that want freedom. I've been reading Conceived in Liberty, which is Mary Rothbard's history of the American colonies before the Revolutionary War. And it's hundreds of chapters, nonstop struggle. Someone wants to control a colony. They want to tell you what to think. They want to tell you, who God is. They want to define religion. They want to impose taxes. They want to seize your property. They want to tax your property. They want to impose monopolies. And then there's another group fighting for freedom. And it was going on for hundreds of years before the Revolutionary War. I mean, there were monopolies in New York on who could bake, There were tariffs on using the Hudson River to go up and down the river. There were monopolies on who could trade with the Indians. They would give you land, they would steal your land, they would tax the land, people wouldn't pay the tax, there were rebellions. It's hundreds and hundreds of struggles. So it's been going on before the revolution. It's going on in every country in the world. Today, it's certainly going on, and if you have any political power, I think the best way to use it is to support those that trust people, are in favor of freedom, because there tends to be, or seems to be, this never-ending tendency of governmental organizations to get stronger, and as they get stronger, they raise taxes, they funnel the taxes into the police state and the control state, and pretty soon it's illegal to bake bread. It's illegal to row up a river. It's illegal to cross the river. It's, if you have land, you have to pay tax. If you pay tax, it has to double. if the taxes were used, it used to be we paid tax to pay ministers to preach religious beliefs that you disagreed with, and if you actually laughed or kissed your wife on a Sunday, they whipped you, and fined you and seized your property because you were disrespectful to the Almighty Lord. And I'd like to say it was unique and a one-time thing, but it wasn't. It's kind of the history of humanity. So it's going on today. It's reprehensible, and you can't see politicians that will articulate that message that the people cannot be trusted and the government needs to control everything. Luckily, we're in Florida, where we have a number of politicians that believe differently. I'm hopeful that we'll see a backlash to the control tendencies in the political sphere that have manifested themselves over the past few years. And CBDC is just one of those touchstones. It's not the only one. It won't be the last one. It wasn't the first one.
And thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the clip. And as you guys know, Michael Saylor will be talking at the Bitcoin conference in Miami, Florida on the 18th through the 20th. I will be there, guys. Excited to see him talk in person. Make sure to check that out if you guys haven't already. But my name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.